3, 2, 1. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Your dreams are your ticket out. I know I've sang that song a lot, but I just love it, man. I feel like it has to be used at least once in this podcast episode, man. So with that being said, welcome back, Johnny G,
Thank
Mike G. You guys know me, Matt G.
What's up, guys?
You're at it against drinking our not at all sponsored by Buffalo Trace whiskey.
We wish.
We wish we were, for
we're
sure.
open for
Buffalo
sponsorship.
Trace, if you're out there listening, please, for love of
I
God,
thought you
sponsor.
said it was from Colorado. It's from Kentucky, right?
This is Kentucky.
No, the one that oak in the barrel.
Axe in the oak. That was a Colorado whiskey.
When we took that Colorado trip, you took Buffalo Trace and not
because he saw it on the Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
podcast.
I saw him drinking it, and then
Trace?
and then I read the reviews. Everybody said they liked it. I mean, I didn't do it like, hey, I'm gonna take a Colorado whiskey up to Colorado because we're gonna be in there. I was just like, we're gonna be in the mountains. We're gonna drink some good whiskey. That was my whole intention of that.
And it did go down good.
And it did go. It was really good, right? I read a lot of good reviews. That's why I did it as well.
Are you supposed to drink whiskey cold, or I heard that you're supposed to drink like room temperature?
Whiskey, I think it's all preference, really. Honestly, me, I like my whiskey on the rocks. I can take it in shots, but if I'm gonna drink it neat, I'm not gonna drink too much.
Neat.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I start sweating and I get hot, and I prefer mine on the rocks a little. And then it's stronger, neat, obviously. Yeah, that's right, because I'm not a little lightweight biatch like you. No, man. So salute. Here we are back at it.
Salute.
And when we were talking about doing this episode today, I was doing a little bit of reflection and like, okay, what can we talk about? Because I know for those of you who don't know, I mean, you guys know, obviously, we talked about it. We're trying to keep like a very loose format, conversation style, When we all started this, we said, man, we want people who view in, the two people that do, right? Who, when they watch this podcast, I wanted them to feel like they were hanging out with us, like they were here chilling at a barbecue with us, or they came to a party with us, or they're just here hanging out with us in the backyard, talking, drinking it up with us, right? And I think for the most part, we're doing that, But so today I was thinking a little beyond that. I was like, okay, maybe what can we talk about a little bit today? Putting a little more gray matter into it. And then it occurred to me, I was like, we're 6 episodes into season 2. This is the 6th episode. And I feel like we still have yet to do an actual formal introduction, little who we are to the people who do watch this, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we take that for granted a lot, that people who are watching automatically knows, because honestly, the people who are watching this are, acquaintances, friends, whatever. But even then, we take for granted how little people probably actually know about our real lives. I think that's just people in general, right? That you kind of rarely let people in all the way. And I'm not saying we're gonna, do that today, have a fucking open, heartfelt conversation. Maybe, who knows? Depending on how many whiskey shots we take, I might end up crying on this bitch tonight. But I thought it would be good, just maybe to start off a little bit and kind of introduce us like it's the first day of school. No, I'm joking. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, hey, Johnny, stand up and, tell me your 3 favorite hobbies and 3 things, you've done. And none of that. We're going to still keep it in that conversation format. But I think it just benefit everybody, our viewers, and even us, if we just kind of gave like a quick synopsis of who we really are. I mean, because Mandy's been on for 2 or 3 episodes already? I mean, for God's sakes, Mandy in the last 5 years, she graduated college, she became a teacher, she got married, and she had her firstborn, her first son, Nicholas, right? And it's like we didn't bring up any of that yet, And like I said, the audience just probably care to see that. And like I said, I know we're not doing this all for, just views and all that. But like I said, I think it benefits everybody because people, at least my belief, is that people tend to listen more when they trust somebody, when they identify with somebody. And I guess the bottom line, at the end of the day, we can all identify with each other a little bit. You can have that empathy where you kind of walk in somebody's shoes for a second and kind of see it through their eyes or live vicariously through them, through their experiences. So it's always good to do that, So with that being said, Mike, if you could stand up and do your 3 best things about...
Your go-to dance move, right?
Yeah.
What's your go-to dance move?
Your go-to... No, man. See, I don't want to put anybody on the spot like, well, my name's Mike G. No, I mean, because for those who don't know, I know we said things. People probably picked up little snippets, or they can gather enough, information throughout the podcast to kind of glean a little context of who we are. Obviously, you're Mike G. You're my older brother, 32 years old. Jonathan is my younger brother, 23 years old. I'm Matthew Guzman. I'm going to be 25. And my sister, who's been on a few times, is turning 28 this year. And, like I said, graduated, started her career, is married, has a kid of her own. But you lose some of that in the translation, though, man. So I guess I'll just start off like I said, you're my older brother, Mike, man. Like, who the hell are you? And why the hell are you even on this podcast? I was thinking about it. I was like, he's 32. God, like, damn, old ass, why are you here? No, I'm joking, man. Well, I mean, it's just, I guess we can just shoot from the hip a little bit. I mean,
so I'll go. So again, my full name's Michael, right?
Yeah.
I go by Mike, even when I introduce myself to anybody at work. Anna hates it. She says that's not Mike's a totally different name, right? Mike's Mike.
Mike's a nickname for Michael, isn't
it
it?
is, but there's some people that are straight just
go
Mike.
by Mike.
Well, yeah.
I
We
know
know
there
that.
man used to go by Michael.
Yeah.
Well, he does.
I do.
But I mean,
but it's just
It's like my
easier.
name's Matthew, but people call me Matt all the
Yeah,
time. You know,
I
your
guess
name's
to make it
Jonathan. People call you John.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
to I guess
Not one
it's
person.
just easier, Mike,
Yeah.
right? It's anyway. So my name's Michael. 32, be 33 this year.
Yeah.
Old ass.
Old
motherfucker.
ass motherfucker. You know what? This is going to be
so-
your retirement episode, bro. We're going to retire your jersey and all that tonight. Next
Yeah,
episode.
So married, 2 kids, son and a daughter.
Well, see, but like that's just little stuff you lose in translation because I'm sure a lot of people knew you were married already,
Yeah.
but not too many people know that. Hey, man, you married your high school sweetheart, right?
Yeah.
Life started fairly.
Well, she married her high school.
Yeah, she
sweetheart.
married your high school. You
lucky,
you got trapped,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You got trapped and cornered. You had no other choice.
No,
It was
yeah.
a shotgun wedding,
Yeah,
right?
no, it was good. So we
Please
got
don't kill me
married-
later, Anna.
We got married very young, started a family very young, but hey,
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
Ups and downs
Beautiful
for
family,
sure,
man.
but
Beautiful family for
we're
sure.
going strong
Not just
now.
saying that.
So, yeah. So again, married, 13 and 11
I mean,
year old.
I hate to do an interview section or something like that, but when you're bringing up stuff, I think it's just
Mm-hmm.
cool to kind of go into it. I mean, so you got married when you were 19 years old. When
18.
married your high school sweetheart, right? And for under any circumstances, regardless of the circumstance it was and all that, you're getting married at 19 years old. 18 years old. What goes through your mind? And see, but that's a thing, real quick, just a little side note. I know it happens a lot still, but I feel like a lot of it doesn't happen as much as it used to, right? Back in the day, that was a fairly common thing, especially for us, like Mexican culture, heritage. You saw people mostly marrying rather young, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's just what the case was. But for you, you're growing up, you were born and raised in Houston, right?
Yeah.
You kind of have that Houston dynamic that mom's family's from the north, and you kind of grew up in the South Houston, north, and all that. You were a jock. You played you played basketball in high school. What's going through your mind when you decide like, okay, it's time, it's showtime,
Yeah.
buddy. I'm getting married
No,
now.
I mean, so when she moved in and stuff, and it was all new. Honestly, you don't think about like what does this truly mean. To me, it was like, damn, my girlfriend. I don't have to wait.
He was all giggling, right?
I don't have to wait.
My
I don't have to wait to
girlfriend.
get to school at 8 to see her again. It's like she lives with me, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool. Like, plus you're like, I was the only motherfucker in high school. Like, my girl lives with me. Who else says that?
Badass, right? Yeah.
Who else says that?
He's like, my
you
mom's
know?
dropping me and my girlfriend off today at school because
Yeah.
we live together now.
So, but
I mean, it's
so-
probably one of those things where being young was it
but
probably
every-
had a lot of people scared because he was so young, right? Like, damn, like, he's always like, damn, my son's getting married. He was worried for
Yeah.
you, all our theos,
Well, not for sure.
giving you
So-
advice.
so
but
the-
it's also probably to your advantage because you were
Yes.
younger and you didn't know better,
So the older crowd, obviously, mom,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, obviously, they saw it from a higher level, right? Of, what's he going to do for work? How's he going to support his family? So, yeah, for sure. Looking at it from that aspect, I'm sure a lot of people were like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Everybody in high school, though, was like, damn, this dude's a G, right?
Wanna be
They're crazy. And, no, so, I mean, right away, I was very immature. I mean, what do you expect? I was 18, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, through that, here we flash forward. We've been married this past February. It was 14 years. So, a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
But,
Huge, obviously, it still
yeah,
is, but a
yeah.
huge learning curve, I'm
yeah,
sure.
and I mean, people, you do miss out on that. I didn't get to go to college and, for various reasons. And,
well, it was
get
like
to
from day
enjoy
one to day
the-
two, you had to grow up, right?
get that going out scene and stuff like that, and vice versa. Not just me, Anna. She missed out on a lot of things in her youth, but I mean, when you look back, and what because we talk about it and joke about it and stuff, and even when I talk to people like, man, you got married young, dude, you missed out. Like, yeah, I missed out on partying and shit like that, and that's cool. I'm not saying I think everybody should experience that life, but. I wouldn't change where I'm at right now in my
Exactly.
life
I mean,
because
ultimately-
for a few years of partying and and being single.
Well,
and
the
shit,
people
you
who
know?
are trying to like really dive into that whole partying scene, like people who
Yeah.
tell you that you're missing out, it's like, well, dude, when's the
Yeah.
end game for you? You know, ultimately, you're doing all this partying, you're going out, you're trying to get what I'm hopefully, you know, I'm not saying that you said you were perfect or anything, but you know, third person, or you're talking to
Yeah.
them. It's like ultimately, you should be trying to get to the stage I'm
Yeah.
at. You know, right? I mean, you can only party so long before you know
Yeah.
you want to really settle down and move on with your life, really mature. You know, but like you said, there's people who did get to experience that, and you say.
I mean,
It's each his own,
yeah,
right?
I
I'm
mean,
assuming.
all in all, man, you gotta just do the best with the cards you were dealt, right? And a lot of, you know, I wasn't just necessarily dropped those cards, you know, I wasn't dealt those cards, you know, obviously a lot of it was my decision and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, you know,
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, life's not perfect.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna have ups and downs, married early or late, whatever.
Did it feel like, looking back at it, it's like everything happened so far the way it was meant to be, though?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I look back and, you know, not to be cheesy and corny and stuff, but, you know, I wouldn't want to live another life.
Yeah.
There's small things, you know.
I think
I'd
you
like
do,
I'd like
right?
to have a better job, right? I'd like more money, bigger house, but that's regardless.
Yeah, and then I only asked you that question not because I'm trying to imply that, hey, man, you could have done better. No, honestly, it's the contrary, because I
Yeah.
think you ask anybody who really knows you, or even looking outside in, man, it's like Mike G, given the difficult hand here, and it wasn't even difficult, it was your choice, right?
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to think that you got forced into a situation or shotgun wedding or nothing
Yeah.
like that, but you definitely went down a path that could have probably broken a lot more people, immature people. You really had to step up and become a man. That's what I'm saying. Dang, man, one week you're going to fucking basketball practice, mom's making you PB&Js, picking you up from school, and the next week you're with, you know, getting a serious relationship, starting
Well,
a new life with your
The hardest
wife.
decisions I had day to day before, you know, Anna moved in and stuff was like how I can skip more often and not get caught, right? Because like I was the skipping king at Hightower High School, man. You know,
Hightower High School, shout out Hightower High School.
Hightower,
It was at Mo
shout
City.
out Hightower, Hurricanes, but
I hate
nah,
that
so
school.
you know, that was my thing, and you know, so yeah, I mean, my life changed, you know, and then it hits you like, fuck, I gotta get up and go to work every day, like,
And that's what I was going to say, because honestly, where I see you at now, it's like, man, I don't think any other person, at least I haven't seen any other person, you know, besides maybe you and Dad, who got thrown into life at such a young age and were able to come out, you know, to make the most out of it. Because honestly, dude, I mean, like I said, if I'm going to kiss anybody's ass, it's going to be my family and people I love and trust, right? So, yeah, if it looks like I'm kissing your ass, it's because I am. But, oh, man, honestly, just been so proud seeing the things you've been able to do, the point where you got in your life. Because, like I said, most people don't know. You started kind of, you know, got thrown into life really soon, and you just started working your way up. And obviously, to your credit, right? I mean, you're in the energy business now. We were talking about that earlier, and you just worked your way up to there. Really, really great situation you got going on there. I don't think a lot of other people would have been able to do it, or probably could have been able to do it, but for whatever reasons weren't able to do it.
Yeah.
And not to take any credit away from you, but you had a great support system,
Yeah,
right? Your
for sure.
family obviously helped you out.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
guess
there's a lot of people, you know, mainly mom and dad, right, that made sure I was responsible, and you know, they never forced me to do anything, but they kind of, you know, painted that line that, you know, this is what you need to do to be successful, and their version of success wasn't necessarily to make the most money you can, to have the best job. It was to be responsible,
to be the best person,
to be
you
the
could
best
be,
person
right?
you could be, right, without selling out, and you know,
without fainting away from your
without stabbing people in the
responsibilities.
back, and you know, climbing up the corporate ladder, but doing it the right way. Same thing with family, right? Don't. There's a lot of things illegally that you can do to make money and shit, and making sure you don't get caught up in something like that. Doing things the right way, right?
Exactly.
And so definitely from mom and dad's perspective, you know, they helped out a lot. We moved, we lived with them for the first few years, and you know, that had its ups and downs, and I'm sure we were probably there longer than Anna would want. But you know, she was patient too, and now she looks back and she realizes, hey, you know, they didn't have to help, because and that's, you know, going back to people that are in this situation, getting married young, and a lot of times you see them, you know, divorce, and so that's not necessarily a failure. It's just the way I look at it, because, you know, I've gone through it. I was lucky and blessed enough to have not just my parents and my immediate family, but a lot of uncles that were out there to help and kind of, you know,
Guide you in a
those
way,
were the
right?
people that I was really hanging out with, right? You know, I didn't because was more of a family man even at a young age. I hung out with, my friends. That's why they're usually older, have families. That was my crowd.
Yeah.
And hanging out with uncles, with their family, they're good people. So they kept me grounded, because shit, I don't know, man.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things almost like not necessarily that the stars aligned, but you had a lot of checks, in your favor, right? I mean, like you said, growing up, I think one of the best things I can say about just us, and I'm speaking for you guys a little bit too, and just about our family, immediate family, but the Guzman family in general, is that, even if we're maybe not at the spot we want to say we're at right now, growing up, we were definitely a very, very family-oriented, group of individuals, right? That what we knew was our family, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see a lot of kids these days, and and no knock on them. It's just it is what it is, I guess. But their family is their friends, right? That's their life.
Yeah.
Weekends, it's like, hey, we're gonna hang out with their friends. For us, it was like, all right, school was 8 hours. After that, it's all family. Or we come home, we're with each other. Weekends come, we're with cousins, family, uncles. We just grew up in that environment, very close knit, tight knit. And it was one of those things, we grew up with the mindset that blood is thicker than water. That family before friends and strangers, right? So in a way, we kind of inadvertently blocked ourselves off from a lot of that outside world, and for whatever reason, I'm not saying that's solely the reason, but it seemed to have been a benefit, plus in your favor, obviously.
No, for sure.
Like you said, you had that,
and
you already had that mentality that I'm a family guy.
Even now that my knock on wood, because things can change, but I feel like I'm at a part of my life where I do have that career I'm chasing and steady job, and I feel like right now at least that my life's kind of in check, right? And it's where I need to be, and I'm happy with my life. My job, my family here at home. I got 2 great kids that, aside from this pandemic going on, that's kind of thrown everything to shit here recently. But, like I said, I wouldn't trade my life for the world.
Yeah, what more could you ask for?
And, it's kind of like I'm blessed, right? And that's that, a lot of times it's cheesy and corny when people, I'm blessed, and that's just truly how I feel right now. And is my life perfect? Hell no, it's far from perfect. There's a lot of issues. And
I just got a text right now that your lightning just hit your truck right now outside.
Which is cool.
Your life is in ruins now.
Yeah, your life is in ruins, bro. I brought this on because reality is we got a lot of notifications before we got, I'm teasing, man.
Or the guy from Scary Movie, right? Tom, I'm going to need a
Tom,
ride home.
I'm going to need a ride
No, I
home.
mean, that's me, mainly biggest thing that people probably didn't know about me. But overall, I'm pretty simple, man. Like,
yeah, it's like you said. I like that you're a family guy, right? Not to be cheesy, like the TV show or nothing like that, because I feel like that phrase has been, taken out of context now because of that.
I think we all are. We are.
But yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But
man.
essentially, Mike is the family guy. But I was gonna ask you a question, man, because you were saying, you're building up to your career and all that, and it's crazy, man, because you're 32 years old, and when you put it in context, you've been you're in the energy business now, but for your career and all that. I want to ask, does it get a little exhausting? Because you've been working for what? It's 18, so 14 years now that you've been building that career, where most people start when, I'm about to be 25, and I'm barely, not even, I'm wetting my toes when it comes to, like, trying to build a career I really want,
You started really from...
No, that's what I mean. So it's like, you got to say, like, you're 32, and you see people who are starting, and it's like, man, I'm only, and hide, like, reality, I'm only a few years older than you, but... I feel like you're a man already, like you're established, you got your career set. And it's like, man, really, you're barely getting started, honestly. I mean, because you look back at Dad and all our uncles, maybe Dad, he was a real go-getter, ambitious guy. So in his late 20s, early 30s was probably when he was first starting to get into the career he really wanted. A lot of our Theos, maybe mid to late 30s, is when they started really like, okay, we're solidifying ourselves in this industry, this business. It's like you've been doing that already, man. So it's kind of like...
Yeah, it's like I said, everything has its good and its bad, man. For those that, think that waiting to get married till their late 30s and having kids and stuff, and their mentality is like, I do all these things when I'm young and check them off, right, my bucket list or whatever it is that you want to call them, which is fine. But then you run into doing things at a later date, at a later age. Are you truly going to have the energy, with kids and stuff like that? Like, that's just my mentality, right? So, I look at it, everything, I'm blessed if I keep going the way I am. I don't know where life's gonna take me. I don't know what, especially with
I
career
don't think
and
anybody
stuff.
really does,
But
right?
if I do stay in this industry for another 10 years, that's 25 years almost that I'll have with Siemens, and I'll be fucking 42 years
Yeah,
old, right?
exactly, right.
So you look at it, and
crazy
it has
when you think
and it has
about
its
it.
positives, right?
Mhm.
When my kids, because we talk about this all the time, because everyone's like, man, I should have another one. You're young. I was like, yeah, but I'm being selfish, right? Because the way I look at it and is, when my kids graduate high school, get into college, I'm going to be 38, 39 years old,
Shit, like
so
37, really, man. Like
so
he's 13.
I have, and again, I don't know what life brings at that age, 7 years from now, but I can sell this fucking house, go get my damn condo downtown like I've always wanted to. Travel, right? I can go get those jobs that
You're
require
going
a lot of
backwards,
travel.
Mike. You're going backwards, man.
Then I can live my life that I wanted to in my early 20s, live it in my early 40s.
Yeah. Well, honestly, if you play it right, dude, that's a good thing. That it's almost like an
Yeah.
open canvas. You can do what you want.
So
But do you feel sometimes older than you really are? Because I mean, you're 32, but do you ever wake
We've
up?
kind of always had that, right? Like you said, you were always hanging out with an older crowd, right? When you were 15,
I think
you're
it was-
hanging out with like 20, 30-year-olds.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know about that. Crazy.
No,
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
uncles
Really.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Your uncles and
You
all
really.
that.
It was going back to that family dynamic, right?
Yeah.
You really got under the wing of dad and
Yeah.
Theos and all that, right? But I mean, now as you are present, do you ever feel like, man, I'm older? I feel older than what I really am.
yeah, I mean,
Uh-huh.
well, I mean, everyone that knows me most people that watch this probably think like, and this dude's like an alcoholic and stuff, when that's far from the case. They see me,
I don't know.
they see me once every 3 months, and yeah, I'm drinking beers, and that obviously deems me an alcoholic, I guess. But no, I mean, obviously I like to have a good time, and this is what I always told y'all, and I wish people out there listening, when y'all go to fucking parties and show up in a shit attitude, my advice to y'all motherfuckers, don't go, because you kill it for everybody. My thing is, like, if I'm not feeling up for socializing and shit, I'm just not gonna go, right?
Yeah.
But no, I like to have a good time. You guys know I have a small circle of friends. To me, like, friends gotta be really close, like family, right? If it's gonna get to the point where I'm inviting you over to my house, especially with my family, right? Because I just won't invite just anybody or someone that I haven't seen in 10 years. I really don't know what they're into, what they're doing, and then, hey man, my door's open to anybody. I'm willing to help anybody, but I'm gonna pump the brakes on saying that anybody's welcome at my place. Well, nah, if I don't really trust you, or then the game kind of changes. But I could probably on both my hands name my close friends that I'm close to right now, and
His name's Jack, and his other friend's Daniels.
Yeah.
Jack Daniels.
and and then my friends know who they are. If you get invites to my house, then you're in my close circle, right?
Yeah.
And most of all my family, obviously, but I'm talking about just friends, that aren't family. But yeah, I mean, as far as feeling a certain age and stuff, man,
He's like, you're only as young as you feel. And he goes, and right now I'm feeling that tequila. What's the 1800? What's
Yeah.
it called? 1800. And that's what I'm feeling right now. That's how old I feel right now. No, man.
so I mean,
Nah. And just going back, man, it's one of the. I'm like I said, I could go on and just keep have a fucking ass parade on you tonight and just say all the things I'm so proud and respect of you. You great career, right? One of the smartest guys I know. Just in general, but especially when it comes down to the business, you're kind of you're definitely top 2, top 3 guys I go for sure when I have questions, trying to learn. Myself, like I said, I'm trying to learn the business a little bit. So you got a great career, you got a great family, great, living situation, right? I think most people, just in general, would probably say, dude, that dude's got it made, And all those things are true, great things. But one of the things I respect about you the most, I don't know if I tell you enough or even if I ever told you, but because you look back and when you reminisce, you kind of see the whole big picture. It's easy to lose sight of, where you started and where you're at now, right? So I think it's cool to do that sometimes, but from day one when we were kids to even now 32-year-olds with 2 kids of your own, starting not even starting your career, 14 years into your career, just getting going. It's like I think the thing, and I think most people who know you will agree, including family, including your friends, that the Mike you knew, at least for me especially, 15 years ago, is kind of the same Mike you get now. Obviously he's done a lot more stuff, he has more things, he's experienced different things, but you stayed that same person, and it's not like a knock, like, oh, you haven't evolved, you haven't changed, you haven't matured or anything. It's like, no, he's done all those things, but he's kept to the core of like who he really is. And it's not for you, it goes to John, because I look to my left and Johnny's right there. And I think just for our family in general, it's so easy to like start growing up and, like you said earlier, sell out a little bit, start changing your ways. Maybe it's easier if you act a certain way or start talking a certain way to kind of move up the ladder, get more things. Maybe if you kind of crumble under the weight of it all sometimes. And for you, honestly, that's my biggest compliment, dude, that I feel I could give you, is that you've kind of stayed true to who you really are,
And I appreciate it, man.
So,
and my thing is, like, when I see people, man, if I invite friends, it's obviously probably because I haven't seen them in a while. Like, it's long overdue. Come over, let's shoot the shit, hang out.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is have these serious conversations, right? Let's have a good time. Same thing with family, man. Like, sometimes, people are a little phony. I guess that's what I'll call it, and they want to talk business and they want to sell themselves like,
they have something to prove almost, right?
To me, it's like,
a little pedantic and whatnot.
I do enough of that shit at work. Like, I leave work at work. When you invite me over to a get-together, a barbecue party, whatever, like, I want to have a good time, right? Let loose, let's shoot the shit. But at the same time, if you want to sit down and have an educated conversation about whatever, we can do that too. I just choose not to, right? That shit's boring. I usually do that Monday through Friday, so on the weekends, I want to, relax and chill. But and that's the thing. I'm crazy like I was 15, 16 years ago, and I do that now. I act stupid, talk shit, and
and I think it says more about who we are, though, right? Because I think it says kind of where our head's at and where our priorities. Now, some people might see it like as a disadvantage, right? Or, hey, you shouldn't be, like, it's immature, right? But I think our priorities, and I think I speak for the three of us. I don't mean to put words in anybody's mouth, but I think a lot of our priorities stand more. Not so much. Yeah, we obviously know that, starting a career, being successful is not necessarily important, but it's something you kind of have to do, right? It goes with it. Bob taught us, if you're going to do something, do it right. So that kind of goes hand in hand with that. Yeah. But ultimately, I think what we kind of yearn for is that, I don't want to say good time because I don't want to make it seem like just drinking. It's like, no, just to be kind of at that peace, on good terms with people, have a good time, be around loved ones, and share, honest, true feelings, right? I think that's really what we are. Like, going back to what you said, you're a family guy, man. That's what that means, right? Like, your priority is the people around you, the fam. And there's other stuff that goes, right? Obviously, if you really mean that, then you're going to try to do well in your career.
And one thing that, kind of advice too is, it's not just for me that I don't talk about it, just solely for me. And it's the way, man, maybe we're like that too, and we really don't see it because it's us, and we're not as critical on ourselves sometimes. But even when you come off, and talk about work or talk about things that are happening in your life, certain people that are listening to you or in that conversation, you got to be real and see how they're going to perceive it. If you were talking about success you've had at work, let's just face it, family or friends, there's going to be a lot of people that envy that shit. Like, goddamn, like, he's moving up, what a show off, right? Yeah. They're not going to truly, genuinely be happy for you, man. And that's just the way it is. Maybe down the line they will.
Or ultimately they are, but at that
they're
moment,
happy, but at the same
human,
time,
man.
they apply what's going on to them. Maybe their situation at work, shit, they're looking for another job. They hate their job, and they feel like you're just bragging, right? And vice versa. You don't bring work up, or they bring work up and you make a joke about it. They look at you like, man, this dude, he's stupid. Like, he must act like that at work. He's not serious, Yeah. And it's like, no, I am, but... I don't want to talk about that.
Like you said,
now.
and going back, I have nothing to prove.
It's like, forgot, like, I answer to you. Like, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to talk about work here on a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's not going to benefit me at all.
Yeah.
It's just stressing me out on my Saturday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my thing. And, just not just for us, but, for the people taking that information in. And a lot of times people don't want to hear about what the fuck you got going on, whether it be work or life, So, I don't know. That's enough about me, I guess. Johnny?
God damn, man. When was he going to shut up? Another thing about Mike, you don't know.
You go next.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm Matthew Guzman. I'm 23 years old. Hello. 23. I can't even get my own damn age right. I'm 24.
There you go.
No, man. We'll get to me last. You save the best for last always, whatever. No, man. So Johnny G, my younger brother, my kinfolk, right? I mean... I feel it kind of goes back to Michael, right? It's almost like, what is there really to say that people don't know? But then there's so much to say that it's like, where do we even start, man? I mean, you're currently at U of H, right?
Yep.
And that, I guess that brings up another interesting point. It's really hard to really kind of explain yourself or show who you are in this kind of talking format a little, right? People really get to know you after spending time with you, right? The way you make them feel, the way they see you, the way they trust you,
really
right?
Don't want to. You kind of let certain people in, right, into
Exactly,
your inner circle. You really don't want to expose yourself
I mean,
too
like
much.
you said, if you're gonna just say who you are, you might as well. Hey, I'll print my resume out and give that to you, right?
It's not that I'm probably coming off arrogant, but it's not like that you're privileged to know who we are. But in a sense, to get in our inner circle is, what it is. We have to trust you. We have to really know.
Sometimes people engage when it's more relatable to them. When they, they can relate to you a little bit more. They, you kind of engage people more.
Yeah. It's going back to that identifying, right? Can you empathize? What do you identify with them, right? But I mean, honestly, I said this from like day one on the podcast, and I sat with you because you two are probably the most interesting guys I know and have so much to bring to the table, right? It's just, I think our problem a lot of the time is just not even a problem. It's just the way it is how do you really go about promoting it when promoting something like that's not your priority at all, right? I think you guys would agree that trying to impress people or trying to, be pedantic and show off that you're all that and all that doesn't interest you at all. It has no benefit to you.
Not even that, to the sense that, like, you're still working on yourself and trying to find out who you are, right? Yeah. Like, as a person. So how are you going to try to say, hey, this is who I am, when in reality you're still trying to figure out who you are, right? And like you said, I know we're rooted by a lot of these good values, right? Like family-oriented, like, and all this stuff. And I think, it's a simple word like that, but we're family guys. And
that's your anchor, obviously, because like you said, you're still trying to figure out kind of who you are. You're trying to set yourself up in life for certain things you want or you're desiring. But ultimately, like Michael, I guess that's a better word for it. Like throughout all those 32 years, you kind of had this anchor of who you were to the core that kind of always stayed present there. And that's not the case for a lot of people. A lot of people, you look at them now versus like 10 years ago, it's like, man, you're a completely different person, bro. Like I can't even talk to you anymore just because we have nothing in common. And it's like we're not on the same wavelength anymore, right? So that was my kudos to you. And for you, too, you still have that anchor, though. And I hope you do. And I hope, like, as you continue to grow and go into whatever it is you decide to do, because, like Michael said, everybody has their own situation. But you have a whole freaking empty canvas. You have a whole platform that you can start building right now. That's your benefit, right? That the world is your oyster, right? Is that a saying? Yeah, I've heard that before, right?
Fuck oysters. They gave me food poisoning last time, bro.
You cooked them wrong, though, man. I told you don't mess around with seafood.
I get what you're saying. It's like I really don't have anything that.
That's not, and I wasn't trying to make it seem like, oh, Jonathan, what can I say? You're nobody. No.
That's a good thing.
We could go. I just didn't want to make it seem like I'm just reading off a resume.
What I want to say about both of y'all, just so y'all can add to your resume as we're introducing her, y'all both two fucking sellouts, bro.
What?
Well, how?
Y'all talk about family and all this. Y'all sellouts like a motherfucker.
No.
There's been a lot of times y'all have left me hanging here, dude. No, we're just going to chill. And then I fucking find out y'all are downtown and shit. So
that's not selling out. That's going for having a better time. All right. I'm just being nice because I don't want to break it to you. All right. It's okay. We can go out and party with some hot chicks.
What really pisses me off is when they stop by early, and I'm like, damn, they actually showed up early, man, or on time.
Hey, Mike, can I borrow your shoes?
And then they eat. All right, we're gonna bounce, bro. Yeah, we're gonna go with some friends. And then what pisses me off on top of that is like, nah, man, we don't really know what we're going to do. Like, bitch, it's 11. I hope y'all know. Then why y'all going?
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
And then you'll see on their Instagram, it's like 30 people and shit. Like, fuck y'all.
Those are just random people we just got an Instagram with. That's the trade I do. That's my go-to move when I'm out. It's like, hey, can I take a
No, but you asked, I mean, like, that's a tough question. Who are you?
It's that inner, yeah. Hey, you can't bring it out. It's that. Who am I, or who I am, right? No, and I didn't mean to get into like a deep personal who are you to the core kind of person. I just wanted to give my whole objective with this is the point of that. I really didn't have an objective with it. I just felt it could be cool to kind of talk about ourselves a little bit today, just so people who are watching, okay, who the fuck are these people that are talking about Ahmaud Arbery and the Houston Rockets and
Like,
UFOs?
why should we trust
Not so much
you
even why
guys?
should they, because at the bottom line, I'm still under the impression that people only really listen to people in power. Like, if you're a celebrity or something, that's who people really listen to. So people are going to listen to us, and why the fuck should I listen to you? Who are you? You know? I have a job just like you know what I mean? So I'm not saying it because for that reason, like, hey, I want to introduce who we are because I think people are going to get more, it's going to give us more views or nothing like that. It's no, I just, honestly, my pure reason for it was I think people do trust and empathize and identify more with you when they know more or less who you are, kind of, right? And they're not going to find that out here because, like I said, Michael gave like a 20-minute little spiel, and that doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of who he is, what his experiences were, right? So I'm not trying to put all this pressure, like, who are you, Jonathan, you know? But just for those, little background who don't, you're my younger brother, Jonathan. And even there, right? Like, damn, well, stop it, you know, I'm Jonathan. Don't have to say your younger brother.
I'll see. Let me just pour it.
No, yeah. But, you know, you're at U of H currently right now. You spent a couple of years with me at UST when I was at University of St. Thomas. You're majoring in economics. You're a hell of a baseball player, right? That's your sport because you suck at everything else, right? No. I mean, but if you had to say a little bit, I mean, I'm not going to talk for you.
Yeah.
Start saying some things and maybe we can get into different avenues from there, kind of like I did with Mike G.
Take one from Michael's. My name's Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
Edward is my middle name. Guzman.
Fun fact, Jonathan's name, Jonathan.
I'm getting to that. Is dad named the after. I don't know if you even know this or y'all. He named me after that guy, Jonathan Edwards. He wrote a poem, or the Reverend Jonathan Edwards. He wrote what would you even call it? A poem or
a short
a sermon?
Story. Do you know the title of it?
I don't know if you want to give more about that stuff.
My dad said he old story by the Reverend Jonathan Edwards. He wrote this short story called "Sinners in the Hand of an Angry God." And essentially the story is that how kind of futile we all are, right? That God can have us, he's holding us by a string. And at any second, that little string, that little thread, he can easily let go and we fall into the flames, right? Because in the story, the imagery he's painting is God's holding us all by a string over this huge inferno, hell, essentially. And it's only because of God that we're not falling in. So at any second, God can just let go. So the point of the story is how dependent we are on God, right?
And Dad was like, "Hey man, he
said that story really hit him, man.
Yeah, so
it's a popular
he
story.
named me after that. So not Jonathan Edwards, but Jonathan Edward Guzman.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
like
what the fuck does my name mean?
Michael Anthony, Dad. He told me that he
Michael.
named you that because one day he was driving home, and he hit a possum on the road. And he said that when he saw the possum,
George Michael was playing on the radio.
George Michael was playing, you know, and his friend Anthony was with him, and he saw this possum. And when you were born, he said you look like that dead roadkill possum, so that's why he named you that. Ugly ass baby. Ugly.
No, but anyways, that's where my name comes from. And like Michael said, we're simple guys. We're family guys. I'm 23. I'm about to graduate from U of H in December. And I guess I'm like everybody else, man. I'm just trying to figure out what my role here in life is. Like I said, like you said, our anchors, our family, and you know, I know sometimes I kind of stray from that a little bit. It may seem like that way. It may seem like I'm
just admitted it.
That I'm shy. I'm a shy guy. You know, I keep to myself a lot. But you come to learn if you get to really know me that I'm probably like one of the most nicest guys. I know on surface.
I don't believe it.
It looks like I'm angry and like miserable.
Well, you are, bitch, when you start throwing shit.
Yeah.
But
well, let me ask you this:
I just want to prosper, man, and I have a lot of ambition, and you know.
Well, let me ask you this: we're only a year and a half apart, not if that, right? Or a little more than a year and a half or something.
That's a fact, Matt.
What?
I think that's a fact.
That's a fact. What did I say? I didn't say it was an opinion.
If that.
I didn't say if. I said, bitch. Well,
almost 2 years. When you were born in what, June?
I was 95 and you were 97. So people think we're 2 years apart, but really it's like something 1 year and some change, right? Some extra months, right? So we're really close in age. But Dad always says, because we're so close in age, you know, that people always, you know, clump us together. And I think most people who say that right now, friends who are watching this or people who know us, see us as a pair almost. You know, when I'm out, you're out with me. When you go out, I'm there with you. When we have, like, same friends, We went at the same school for a while. People say we look just alike. I don't buy it. I think if you get to really know us, you're gonna come to know like, hey, you guys.
Well,
don't
everybody
even look
says
alike.
like our friends, hey, we look alike, but then they get to know you or Mandy, and they're like, hey, you look so much more like your older
I'm a
brother.
middleman, man. I'm both sides. I'm a chameleon.
Then I think me and Mandy look more alike than me and you look alike.
Well, I think you look like Mandy because you look like a girl a little bit, but that's the only thing. No.
Well, I think Mandy looks like a man.
Well, it's Mandy looks like a guy, and Jonathan looks like a girl, right? So it's like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, but Dad always says, we clump, and it's unfair to you, he always says, because people expect you to kind of, and not be on my level, but I'm older, so obviously I have more experience. When we were in high school playing soccer, I was a year and something, and when you're 14, 15, that year makes a difference, man. That year and change, I'm developing
Right,
more,
like
right,
you said,
physically.
the time span, right? When you're 20s, it does make a difference from a 20-year-old to like a 22,
Yeah, I mean,
21.
then as you get later, right? it
But
doesn't
like
really
then
make-
you're older, right? A 62-year-old from a 60-year-old. It's not
Yeah.
much of a difference, right? You're in the same category, right? And the same way of thinking at that point.
Yeah.
But like here, that we're talking crucial years of growing up and
Yeah,
experience
and you see
that
it
is
more
really
now,
beneficial,
obviously,
right? Like
right.
you're 24, I'm 23, and you've already been in the workforce for 2 years. I really don't have any experience in the workforce, so I have a lot to learn from you right
Shout
now.
out Papacitos.
Shout out to
bro.
Papacitos.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even want to mention that crap, but that is experience
that's
that I have
part of your
over you,
life.
That's
right?
who you are, man. Don't be
Don't be
ashamed of that.
embarrassed of that
Yeah,
shit,
that's who
dog.
you are.
Let me
You
go
weren't
whip you up some
stealing money.
fajitas right now, right?
Well, let's finish this thought because I want to ask you this question, but let's not bring up the Papacitos because I think that's an important part, regardless if you want to acknowledge it or
Yeah,
not.
see, that's the thing about Johnny. He's real shy.
Yeah.
So he overthinks shit. He wants to paint a perfect picture, right?
Yeah.
Hey, dude,
is what it is.
that's part of your life, bro. Part of your story.
No, yeah.
I just regret that I wasn't ever able to go and like knock the tray out of your hand like I wanted to, bro. Because
Or make some crazy orders, whatever.
Yeah.
I want chicken.
I want 9
man, they
margaritas.
said order. Dude, they order some crazy stuff. People,
Yeah, I know. I wanted to be the guy.
Yeah,
but I knew
you
he
don't
would have
know.
shit his pants if he would have showed up or something, like have shown up. And
My friend DJ hit me up a few times. Look at your brother, bro. Like he was waiting table. I was like, fuck with them, bro. Like order some bullshit and then
Yeah.
like last minute cancel
yeah.
it.
Or then to, like get your food and it came back wrong, right? I don't like it. It tastes weird. Can bring me back a new plate or something.
I have some stories for you about
Yeah,
that.
we'll get back to the Papacitos. I think it's an interest. It is a big part of, not a big part, but as of now, part of your life, obviously.
It's just an
regardless.
experience, right?
Yeah, and it's an experience, just like all things, right?
Yeah.
But my question was going to be, since we're so close in that age and that Clem, do you sometimes get pissed off that people automatically, some people probably just see you sometimes as Mike and Matt's little brother? Maybe more so mine, because like I said, we spend so much time together.
Yeah.
Like, that's Matt's little brother, Because in high school, I know it would get you upset sometimes. Like, people would call you, like, little Matt, hey, what's up? Matt's brother, little Matt,
Yeah.
And at a certain point, it's almost like, and I don't want to sound like an arrogant asshole or anything, but like you're living in my shadow, kind of, The good thing with me and Mike is that I never really felt that way because he was already older than me. It's like, what shadow? He's 8 years older than me,
That's like even when I go out with y'all, that's why I really don't as much anymore. But when I used to go out with y'all and stuff, like me and Anna would go, right? Granted, this is obviously they don't think I'm that age, but it was almost the equivalent like our friends, because some of them were even younger than y'all. But it's like me showing up was like, oh fuck. It's kind of like the equivalent almost of like their dad's here, And I would I would
dude,
notice
no
it,
way.
man. I would notice it like to an extent where they act a little different,
Yeah.
like an adult's here, And then they were grown too, right? They're over
Maybe
21.
initially, but then as they got to
look
know
at it
you,
like, oh fuck, like an adult's here, we got to be proper and like, nah, fuck that. And then I think over time they were like, damn, this.
well, by the end of the
motherfucker-
night, they said how much they liked you. We've got nothing but like good comment, like, hey, what'd you think about oh, they were so
And
much
if you
fun.
felt
Him and his
that way, it's
wife.
just like they
Don't
with
ever
anybody
ask
knew,
what
right?
people thought about
Yeah,
me.
well, no, I didn't ask what you think of my brother, but they just and however it came
Like,
up.
hey guys, we're sending y'all this quick 5-minute survey. Please just
Yeah,
fill
what
it.
did you think of
Leave
my
some
brother and
general
his
comments
wife?
at the very bottom.
Lame ass,
Had to do
lame
that
as fuck,
Papacitos all the
or just
time,
lame, right? Please circle one because I know they were lame, but nah, man. That's just maybe your own insecurities. Because honestly, I'm starting to feel like that now, dude. Where I'm 24 already, and now when I go out, especially with my friends who are in college still, it's like, oh, should I really be here? Like I'm 3 years older than you guys. Like, I feel like I don't really belong here anymore. Or, I feel like I'm everywhere I go now. Well, especially with you now, like you and our friends, and I'm the oldest guy there. And then I'm driving sometimes. I feel like I'm a fucking chaperone, like the dad. Like, man, this is just embarrassing to me. It's a blow to my ego, right?
Yeah.
Ego. But then, you end up drinking, you end up having a good time, and you could care less about that. Yeah, fuck it. I'm the oldest one, I'm the baddest ass one here. No. But do you ever feel like that? Like you're kind of living even inadvertently in my own shadow? Now, I'm not saying I'm trying to do it or nothing, but
No, I mean, like you said, we've always been paired together. I mean, ever since we were little. I mean,
John was my first lover.
no, but you know when we
kind of rekindling
and we're rekindling that
now.
fame right now. We're turning that brotherly love into passionate,
honestly,
fiery,
in all
romantic
sincerity, I haven't felt that way, man. And I can tell you, to
The
be
love
honest,
part, or
you haven't
living
felt
in the
me?
shadow, and you know, I mean, obviously we're getting older, right? And you know, I'm 23, you're 24.
Son of a bitch.
You're gonna want to do things.
You think you're too good to live in my shadow, or what?
You're gonna want to do things on your own, right? Just you know, I mean, for the most part, we still do a lot of the stuff together, but there's gonna come a time where we are gonna have to go our separate ways. You're gonna have your own family one day. I'm gonna have my own family, and hopefully, we're still close, all of our family together. But honestly, in all sincerity, dude, I've never even thought about that, living in your shadow and all that. You know, if anything, that's benefited me, right? Because where you go, I go.
Damn
right?
right it has.
The soccer team, you know, it's kind of like I've always been in your shadow, Maddie's shadow. You know, I'm the youngest guy, and you know, like we said, we're family guys, and I've been taught to respect your older siblings, and you know, appreciate for who they are and all that. So I've never thought that, like, I've never been envious. I want to be on my own and all that.
Well, not so much that envious, but sometimes just like people automatically assume certain things about you just because you are my younger brother. Or do you kind of feel like you really sometimes don't? And like, I'm not trying to play Dr. Phil here or nothing, but sometimes do you feel like you don't have your own solidified identity because most of the people you meet.
This real quick.
What's going on?
The whatever.
No, but I think going back to that, like,
well, I mean, going back to you,
I
mean,
think
like,
our friends, because at least my friends too, like, they know that we're real tight, right? Like, we're a tight family, but I think they know that all of us have our own. Those that are good friends, your friends, my friends, know that even though we're tight, they know that we're very different in certain aspects, right? Like, you know, just in general, you know, we're just very different, you know. You know, Jonathan's the more quiet, reserved one. I think me and you both are like more the outgoing, you know, show up, not giving a fuck.
It's fun because I think we each have our own little roles
and sometimes,
kind of in the family.
Sometimes those people don't like our way of showing up. Like, look at these fucking obnoxious motherfuckers, right?
That is one word that
I been
described that has been used to describe me so much. Dude.
Shout out to Carlos.
Yeah,
well,
him too. But
I don't even think I knew that word existed.
Yeah, so many people have called me fucking obnoxious, man. Am I?
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I am, dude. I'm an obnoxious son of a.
Someday you've gotten better though, bro.
I've been trying, honestly, man.
You haven't gotten obnoxious in the good.
I feel that's what I'm working on, man. Honestly, I really am. I'm trying not to be so damn.
Well, that's with everybody. They experience, right, when they first start drinking. Like me, I was throwing up, and you're like, babe, you still throw up. But
yeah, well, no, but for me, honestly, it was kind of like a check your ego at the door kind of thing. Because when people would call me that, it was more like it bruised my ego a little bit. But I had the mindset at the time, like, I don't care what you think. You know, I'm not going to change who I am. If I want to do something, if I want to say something, I'm going to say it. And, you know, and it's even though it might have been arrogant because it's like, well, you're saying that because you're jealous of what I'm having to say, that I have something to say and you don't. But then after a while, it's just like, man, what kind of situations has that been getting me into, you know? So I had to kind of like, all right, man, I don't really like how things are going too much. So I got to check my ego at the...
People would tell you that. And you, like you said, you've looked back and, like, you know, you've checked that now, right? Yeah. But it was mainly, not that you were necessarily doing really stupid shit. It's just that you were arguing points. And even after people... And it was like everyone against you were like, hey, just shut up.
Yeah. And I also think it's the tone of my voice
but
as
well. A lot of the times
dude.
you were just trying to play like devil's advocate, right? You were trying to see
I think it's what would upset more people.
Times when, and I'm guilty of it too, that sometimes we're
just arguing.
We just want to argue a point.
Keep the conversation going, whatever the intention was. But honestly, I think a lot of people get in, because I know a lot of people like that who don't get the same amount of scrutiny as I do. I think it's maybe the way my voice sounds, that after a while it sounds annoying, or people just, right, enough, shut up, you know, it's so loud or something, you know. So I guess that's a good segue into me a little bit.
Well, you're going to finish asking me a question. Not that I want to, but
yeah, good, because I don't even know what I was going to ask about myself. I immediately regretted trying to do that segue.
But you were asking before I had to fix this thing.
The shadow, right?
The shadow. Yeah, like
the hedgehog.
Just to repeat.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. No, but like, no, I don't regret. And a lot of the times people do, compare, couple us up. And I want to ask you, maybe that's a good segue to you. I never felt that way, in a negative way, that I was living in your shadow. For you, was it always like a burden for you to always have me? Because I know I was always with you, behind you, wherever you went, whatever you did, I was right there with you. Was it a burden?
It's not a burden.
That you honestly, had to take me under your wing, just like not even for like that kind of stuff, but like it was kind of your responsibility that.
That's what
You
I was
gotta
going to
take
say.
care
I
of
think at
me
the end of the
too.
day, it was probably more responsibility. But like you were saying, I think I agree with you like that. Honestly, I've never said my brothers are my best friends, but because growing up for me, that kind of downgraded what my brothers meant to me, right? Like for me, it's like, no, my brothers are my brothers, man. Like those are that's as pretty much as high as you can go for loyalty and trust for me, you know? Best friend kind of, I felt like best friend kind of degraded that term, you know? Like they're not my brother, my best friend, because I had good friends, you know,
Well, that is
outside of
just
y'all.
sad, right?
Yeah, that is just sad. But no, but I guess if you had to say like if brother and best friends are like you synonymously the way I, you know, kind of deem what brotherhood means to me, then yeah, I would easily say then you two are my best friends, you know, no doubt. But like I said, growing up, I never gave you guys that term, at least for me, because for me it's like, no, you have your friends, then you have best friends, and then to me, I had my brothers, you know, that's my family. So I think it just really happened naturally. I never saw it like as a burden. Like if Jonathan was around, it wasn't like, damn, why are you always here? You know, it was just like, hey, it's the way it is. He's there. He's my brother. Same thing with Michael. Like he was always there. He was a little older, so obviously he could do different things that I wasn't allowed to do
Yeah.
at the time. But you know, when you start getting older and you have that family mentality kind of engraved into us, you do. It's not a burden. It's like you said, it's a responsibility. I think you feel like as being an older brother,
But
and then an older brother that you see all the time.
that
You know?
you know kind of take pride in doing.
Exactly.
Right?
It was. I mean, there might have been times that you know me being immature or dumb that I was gonna go out or something with like on a date or whatever, and then Dad was like, "Hey, well, you're gonna take your brother with you. Where's Jonathan gonna go?" And then maybe that might have annoyed me. Like, damn, why do I always have to take him everywhere? But I think that was just more like even proves my point more how much like respect and how close we were because it's like. You know, I'm gonna love him like when I leave, and like he's always there. Like it's not one of those things like when you go, you're not. I don't feel like I have the need to go out of my way for someone. Almost like they're a guest. Like when somebody comes over to your house, people can say, "Well, damn, you treat them better than you should." Well, it's not because I'm comfortable with my brothers, you with your son. Like I can be myself completely around them, right? When somebody comes over, I kind of have to put up a front a little bit. I want to go out of my way to make them feel welcomed because they are that guest, right? So I think that's where that annoyance would come from. It's like, man, I feel so close to him already. Like I don't have to hide it. This is who we are. So maybe that would annoy me a little bit, but like you said, I never really thought too much about it. I mean, obviously, when I would see you get in like tough situations or just whatever, struggling with school or relationships or friendships or whatever it was, you know, I did feel sometimes like okay, because I mean, there's definitely times we're all brothers, we butt heads, that you would just piss me off a lot of the times. But I had to take a step back, and like, all right, I'm the older brother. Let me be responsible. I can't, lose my head too much. I'll take the burden on and all that. And Michael probably feels the same way with us, though, which he shouldn't because he used to beat the fuck out of us all the time. So I don't know why he would feel that burden. But, no, so that's what I
No,
felt
but see,
a little bit.
I will say, like, we're so close in age that sometimes you don't even see me as a little brother, and sometimes
That's what I
I
was
don't
going to
even
say.
see
Honestly,
you
it's
as an
not
older
like
brother,
my
right?
younger brother.
We're
It's just
kinda
like you're my
equal,
brother.
right?
Yeah, Mike's like, I don't
Like Michael, we're 10 years
care.
apart. I can like vividly say he's my older brother, right?
Well, I am your older brother too, bitch.
No, I know that, but like sometimes, just because like we were paired so much together, right, that it's kind of like, hey,
Yeah, when he was saying all that, I respect you. I respect my older brother. I was like, bullshit. You don't respect shit.
yeah,
man.
I don't.
Yeah, I'll give it. No, man, but what the hell is that song playing right now?
Phobia.
El Microbito. That's my nickname.
Yeah, so we got a little bit of,
We tried a little
background
something
music.
different today. We wanted to
We don't know if
see-
y'all can hear it or
Yeah,
not.
hopefully
but
it's not going to
I know
distort
you're gonna
the
listen.
speakers
it's more
too much.
for us, right? Just
Yeah.
kind of in the zone,
Chill,
jamming
yeah.
out.
Honestly, because when we do these podcasts a little bit, just a little side note that you start getting a little buzz with the whiskey and you have good conversation, but then you pause for a second. It's like dead silent because we're out here with no music or anything. It's like it feels a little lonely, scary. So I was like, let's put some music on today. Maybe that can reinvigorate us when it goes a little stale sometimes. But no, man. I mean, you're my little brother. You're my older brother, and I guess that's a good segue kind of into me. Like I never saw you as a burden or anything. But like I said, they always say the middle child has it the worst, right? Honestly, I always looked at it from like a positive, I guess, kind of standpoint. Like, hey, man,
We each
I
bring
had it
something
the
to
worst.
the table. And,
no,
and
you had it the best because
No,
you were spoiled.
no.
Yeah,
I
I
was
had it the
spoiled.
worst. Come on.
How many times would y'all get y'all's ass whooped, bro?
Oh, you did some stupid
Countless
stuff, though.
times,
That's
bro.
why,
Regardless,
man.
y'all did a lot of stupid shit.
Not nearly as
You've
much
done
as
a
you
lot of
did.
stupid shit in the last 4 years, bro.
Yeah, but not when I was like 14 or
Oh, that
15
is
years
true.
old.
That
Wade.
is true.
That is
Yeah,
true.
I had no doubt. But I mean, goddamn, is that gonna spank me? Like, yes.
No,
Yeah,
he should
he
have.
should've.
I wanted to fucking spank your ass.
You touch me, I sue. No, man.
No, but I mean, I think I can count on one hand the amount of times that Dad.
I could count on one
Spanked
hand
y'all.
my girlfriend. It's my left hand.
Well, I can count on one finger your girlfriend's. But no, the amount of times that
Yeah.
Dad spanked you, Mandy, and Jonathan, bro.
Dude, he spanked me so many times.
Well,
in
that
kindergarten.
bitch, that's because you were like calling for the ass whooping.
Well, yeah,
That's
but I
when you
still
didn't
got
want to go to
spanked.
school, and you like, this motherfucker is the only motherfucker I know that escaped elementary and made a run for it.
He's
Like,
gonna
he
write a book,
literally-
Escape from
He
Elementary.
literally
Escape from Alcatraz.
broke out of the school and had the fat ass principal chasing this motherfucker in the neighborhood, bro.
That's let me just a side story.
I wish
right?
I would have seen that shit, bro.
That's where I've kind of known like I've been sophisticated or like at least intelligent enough because I remember I was planning that escape.
Breaking
and I
out of
swear I
elementary
was.
and sophisticated, bro.
Granted,
trashy.
keep in mind, guys, that this motherfucker was in kindergarten.
Kindergarten. I remember because
And he's already talking about planning escapes.
You know
and
how they give you bathroom break and water break and all that, right?
Yeah, that sounds a lot like prison, man.
So, anyways, we're in a water break, right? So we get our water, we go back to our desk and all
shit?
that.
Motherfucker had a map.
Yeah, I know he had he was drinking the water in little spurts to stay hydrated, right?
So I knew, okay, I can't escape when the
When they
teacher's
go in the
right there
restroom,
when
he
we're
was, like,
doing
doing
water
pull-ups
break,
and shit,
when we're
like,
water
right,
break, right?
working
Because
out.
they're all right there, right? The teachers, all that, seeing that, and the water fountain's right by the exit door. So okay, if I could just ask for water once we're in our classrooms and the teacher's in there, and I go ask for water, so that's what I did. After water break, I went. I was like, oh, I didn't get a chance. I'm still thirsty. So okay, go back. So I went.
Shawshank Redemption over here. Damn.
And I knew that
Like,
the
he
exit
fucking
door. I
killed his
knew
teacher.
more or less.
I know. It's a miss. I had an accident. She bends over and he like shanks her in the throat and all that like
No,
four
so I was
times.
like, I know if I can get to the water fountain by myself, I can go out the exit door. So that's what I did. I asked to go to the water fountain. So okay, cool. So I'm there, and I just bolted out of the exit door, and I'm making my way down, and all I see is like the street, because you know how Burton Elementary was, right?
What was going on in your head? Like, where did you think you're fucking 5
was
years
like,
old?
hey,
Where were
if
you
I-
gonna go? You live like 20 minutes away.
So
I
I
was-
saw his map,
yeah,
and he was gonna get into the sewer.
I was inside the Burger King first.
yeah. He was gonna get in the sewer and go to Burger King.
No,
and stay in the play.
so my plan was like, if I can get on the road, that will lead me to the house, because that's what we take to get to the school, right? I'm 5 years old, man. That's my logic. I'm gonna get on the road, and I'm
like
gonna
30
follow
like
it.
25 miles.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
know,
follow
man.
it, and somehow it's gonna take me back to the house. So I get out there, and I'm on the
Were
road.
you hysterical as you're running? Were you
I was
crying
just
already?
Yeah,
He was happy
I
as
was
fuck, bro.
crying. I was.
Were you already crying?
Yeah. So I went, and I remember I was like, I'm gonna go to the road, and all I see is fat Mr. Dupont, the principal at the time, comes storming out, and Miss Ezernak, our teacher, like on the walkie-talkie or something.
Yeah, man. He's like, you hear the sirens going
Yeah,
off, right? They
it
got the
kinda
snipers
was.
on
and
you,
then
man.
he, to be honest, I just slowed down. He didn't catch me. That guy was fat.
Ah, you got caught,
But he
man.
caught me,
Locked
and I
up, they
remember
won't
like
let
he was like
me out.
really mad. His face was real red. He's like, I can't believe you actually did this. He's like, we're gonna call your mother.
Good.
I was like, good. That's what I
want.
want. But I remember
Hey, but
when
like-
I exited that, I was like, let me hit the road, and then that'll
Hit
take
the
me home.
road.
And this
right?
was-
I was
this
like
was-
Dorothy.
This was like
Yellow brick road, man.
kind of adding on to the already like crying every day at school and like
Yeah, well, he
they
didn't
took you
mention
home
that.
a couple of times,
he
right?
Strategically left that out.
Because this was like within the first week or two of school. There, he just didn't want to stay.
Well,
his
to be
first
honest,
day of school.
my first, I thought another way I was thinking. I thought I just need to go to school one day, and if I can make it through that one day, I'll be good. Because that first day of school, I didn't cry. Yeah, I was a little
Well,
sad.
you thought that because the way Mom explained it, so you said you thought you only had to go one day of school the whole year.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
Yeah,
Like, you
I
went
thought
one
that was
day
it.
and you were done already. You know.
You was
when
a
I got
stupid
home,
mom.
You was a
honestly,
stupid
I was like,
ass
I did
motherfucker.
it, Mom. She's like, yeah, you did. I was like, you ready to go back tomorrow? I was like, what? I have
What?
to go back tomorrow.
I put all
And
my
that's
energy
when I was like,
into
Put
this
up
yeah,
my
one
I
energy
ain't
day.
gonna
today.
go
I ain't got
back.
no tomorrow.
Man, it was bad, man. We can do a
Yeah,
whole
so
podcast
all
that
this
stuff.
shit, you know,
It's
the
probably why
second
he's all
day he
scarred for
went, he
life.
started crying, and you know they took him back home a couple days, and then he pulled this stunt, and this was like my dad was already like they didn't know what else to do,
They were thinking of homeschooling me.
and
right?
they were looking at options, and then after this one big ass scene where I'm sure my dad and mom got to the school embarrassed as hell, they were like, hey, my dad I guess finally put his foot down and was like, hey, you need to stay, and he was, I'm not gonna stay, little baby crying right here. And my dad gives this man like a grown ass man. I give him that. My dad was like, you can stay in school and stay the day here, or I'll take you home. But as soon as you get home, I'm spanking you with the belt.
And
I'm
not
gonna
even that,
whip
it
your
was
ass."
bad. He was like, if you stay in school at the end of the week, I'll take you to Toys R Us and get you a
Yeah.
toy. And even then, I was like, nah.
And so
I'll
he
go
gave him this
home.
option, like buying him some toys and shit.
Stubborn-ass
My dad
man.
wasn't cheap at all, so I'm sure he would have bought him something badass, a Nintendo 64 or something. And this motherfucker was like, I'll go home and take that ass whooping. And I'm sure he was like, he ain't gonna spank me. He whooped your
Dad,
ass.
whoop
up.
that motherfucking ass,
God,
man.
dude.
Tore that ass up.
Oh, he did it like twice, right? Oh, you're gonna go
multiple
home, but I'm gonna
times,
whoop
bro.
you again. And he's like, I'll
He
go
did it
home.
in the expedition a couple times.
Yeah.
Did that scar you? Honestly, do you think that scarred you? Because Dad feels bad, and
I
Mom,
don't
they
know,
look
man.
back and they don't even like talking about it because they feel so bad about it. Do you have like nightmares sometimes with like
I
fuck coming with the
remember, I
belt?
remember a lot, man. It was just a horrible time because I remember.
But don't feel scars because of mom and dad, bitch.
Yeah.
Feels embarrassment.
No,
And you're
yeah,
the
yeah.
biggest biatch at Burton Elementary, bro.
Yeah, I didn't care, dude. I just wanted to be home, dude.
Why, man? You
I
just
don't
didn't
know.
like
I
school
missed
or
you
what?
guys. I missed
Bitch, we
Mom.
were at school.
Well, yeah, that's why. And then there was that infamous moment where you
Man,
and
they would
Mandy
call
got
me in. They
called
would call like
into-
me and Mandy because we were at an elementary at the same time with each other for a while. They'd call us in, John. They'd be poor, like sobbing in the
Man, because
room.
they were kind of mean, the teachers and all that. Your mom's not coming back for you.
Your mom's not coming back, you little bitch.
Yeah, ain't we coming
And I
back,
remember thinking,
little
like, man, F you,
bitch.
they are going to come back.
Well, I feel bad for Matthew having to go through that.
Hell
but
yeah,
I don't
man.
feel
Me and
bad for
Mandy.
Mandy because she put me through that
Oh
shit.
yeah, she did.
in
I was
her
like, come
kindergarten
on,
year.
bro.
So y'all are a lot alike because we would get to school. Like I was a king at Lyons Elementary, bro. I
North
made
side,
it,
shout
I
out
made it
North side.
all the way to fucking 5th grade. And Mandy goes to
You made it all
kindergarten.
the way to Lands Elementary when you lived on the south side, and that
Hell
school was
yeah.
like in fucking Dallas.
So,
Like, damn.
you know, my life was great.
pass
You know, I had
Yeah.
the best of friends and I was
Amarillo,
popular at
Mamoni.
Lyons. And then Mandy gets there, kindergarten, and she had my kindergarten teacher who loved me to death, right? And she's fucking crybaby, crying every day. We would get to school and we had that Jeep that we talked about.
Yeah,
and
that's
she's
why she
holding
did
on,
it,
She's
man.
holding on to the handle. And
She
I'm
sold
like,
out to the apple that
I'm like
rotted.
pulling her and her body's like holding on to the handle. Like she would not let go. And then finally I would like
She
pry
got
her-
that
I
here
would-
superhuman
I would
strength.
pry her hands off, and
Pry
mom would
her
like
hands.
book it. She would fucking leave.
Mom
bro.
fucking sold you out too,
You
huh?
know, I have to be there crying and shit. And
How would she cry though?
like just crying, bro. Like what the fuck? I would have to go drop her off in the class and embarrass myself. I'd be late to class, right? And then there's one infamous time that she fucked it up for herself because we would ride the bus
Yeah.
to Momo's house, right? Our grandma, who lived a couple miles away. So we would ride the bus, and one of my best friends at elementary, his mom owned the buses, right? She was
The lease.
so she was over the bus routes. So she would drop us off at the house. And she was always cool because we're really supposed to get dropped off last, and a lot of times she would drop us off first. But anyway, one day, you know, we go on the bus, and on certain Fridays, Lions would do like a fundraiser thing, so they would sell like shit outside the school on Fridays after school, like, you know, Frito pies.
And keep in mind, kids who are
candy.
listening, this is like mid '90s,
Yeah,
right?
this is
So-
like y'all motherfuckers have Chick-fil-A out there. Right
Yeah,
now.
I know,
This is
like,
what
this
we
is-
had,
yeah.
right? We had like Frito pie,
Yeah, Sour Patch
pickles, you know,
Straws.
Sour Patch straws.
Pickles.
So we knew when they were gonna do that, and my mom would give us money. You know, mom would give us money, and that one time we're on the bus, and I told Mandy, "Hey, just wait right here, real quick. You want anything?" And she was, "Well, whatever." So I got off with a couple of my friends, and I'm waiting in the line buying shit. I didn't even get to buy a fucking thing. My friends, a couple of them come running, little girl that were in my grade, right? Your sister's crying on the bus. And I'm like, what? She's like, she's crying bad. So I
Crying,
go
it's
on the
bad.
bus.
It's
and what's
so
worse,
bad.
as soon as you walk up the bus and make that turn to the aisle, like there's a group of people just like leaning over on the seat, just staring at Mandy, bro. Like crying, bro, like someone died, dude. So I was like, "Fuck that! You've ruined the rest of my 5th grade life." you
He
know?
had Michael had a pick when he threw it at her, right?
So I
Like,
said, "Come on, get your stuff, get off." We got off the bus.
why?
And because I was embarrassed, everyone was laughing at us, dude. I said, "We're fucking walking them almost today." And
That's
every
your
day after
punishment.
that, we walked. I didn't. She was like, "It's hot." Oh, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, you shouldn't have cried that day. And there was one time she had to pee so bad she pissed her pants. But I was like, "This is what you get for
That's
fucking
a little
crying."
too harsh, man.
For freaking crying, dude.
She pissed her pants
How
on
far,
the
how far
walk.
was Momo?
Yeah.
How far was Momo? Oh, it was like a.
It was maybe like 2 miles, bro.
God, it's far.
That is kind of far,
Nah,
dude.
maybe less than 2
Nah, it was
miles.
like 3 blocks, dude. It wasn't
Nah.
that far. It was like a mile.
Maybe a mile.
It wasn't that far. 2 miles was kind of a lot. Me and Mike are champs for never crying. Shout out to me and
I
Mike
never
for never
cried
crying.
once. I know you guys cried once.
I never cried, bro.
No?
Hell no.
I cried in school.
Was
I mean,
a
I've
little
cried
bitch.
before, but not like. because
I've
I
cried
was at
plenty of
school.
times, but not because I had to go to school.
Why would boss spank us? Because like, yo, what would
I think that's Michael's point. And
He
he
never
didn't spank
spanked
you.
y'all.
He spanked us.
I remember
a bunch
one
of
time I
times.
wanted to beat his ass so fucking bad, bro.
Where'd
I
you
was
come
in
from?
high school, so he was like
your chance,
he
Wade.
was at that annoying age. And one time
So obnoxious.
I
Man.
was
Why are you so
asleep.
obnoxious?
I was asleep in the expedition, and we were there in by Randall's in Meyer Park area, and we were gonna get
Shout out
off
Meyer
as
Park.
a
Who's
family or something. I didn't want to wake up, and this bitch, he would take advantage of shit like that. He slapped the shit out of me, bro, and woke me up. But I got fucking pissed, bro, because he like laid into me, dude, and like slapped me in my face. So I got so pissed, but Dad was already frustrated with me because I wasn't waking up. So I got pissed and I started yelling at him and was like trying to grab him and shit. That Dad started telling me shit, and I was like, "Well, fucking tell him something." Like I yelled at Dad. So right there in Meyer Park, he took me off and started whipping my ass, dude. In Meyer Park, hell yeah, and that pissed me off even more, dude. And he was like, "We're not going anywhere." And we went home. So I wanted to kill this bitch, bro. I was like, "Damn, next time they leave, I'm gonna light your ass on fire, bro."
Light your ass on fire.
How old are you?
Huh? I was like 14.
He was a
15.
bitch. I was with Anna. I was 22.
He took off his belt.
Huh? Nah, but he like started hitting me and shit with just his hand, bro. But then there was those days where he would.
Oh, you were
fucking ass,
you guys
bro.
though. Y'all just so resistant, man. I don't know what the fuck's your problem sometimes.
No, like, after that, like that's because I was just
Shout
hated
out to
going
my
school.
cousin Alan. He helped Dad hand me one of my biggest ass whoopings of my life. Alan ratted me out.
Damn.
Dang.
Let's hear this story.
We're in our old house, so we were young, bro. I was probably in middle school or even like 5th, 6th grade, something like that. And we were playing stupid ass Star Fox on the 64.
That was a good game.
And
Stupid ass Star
I
Fox.
died, and I said, "Fuck." And Alan was there, started laughing. Next 5 minutes go by, and Dad's like, "Hey, let's go." We're driving to Abuelita's house, to Grandma's house.
Y'all live there or what?
Huh?
Y'all live there or where were y'all
No,
going?
we're just going to go visit, I guess. He was going to see if they were there. He goes and knocks, and it was completely dark, so no one was there. He came, and he got in front of looked at me in the back and said, "Get off." I had no fucking clue what was going on.
I
What
got off all
we
happy.
had done before is on one of the side doors, there's a
Yeah,
restroom.
that's
They
what
would
you thought
put
was
us
gonna
in through
happen?
the window. So I thought he's going to put me in through the window to come unlock the door. So I get off. And then we go to the side where the AC unit was, which was the opposite side. There ain't no windows over here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck? What'd you say at your Tia Hela's house? And so I didn't know. So then he told me, Alan told me you said fuck, blah, 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 in the street. And I stayed quiet. He whooped my motherfucking ass, bro.
Now, do you think he did it because he was upset you cursed? Or
I think he was pissed that no one was there.
Yeah, that nobody was there.
yeah.
That something he was already stressed
Hell yeah,
out.
that
He
he
just
knew
took
they
it
were
out.
hanging out somewhere and didn't invite his
Yeah,
ass.
exactly. And he just
That
started.
fucking Alan, bro.
Yeah.
Like, didn't even tell me. Like, at least could have been cool. Alan, if you're listening, at least, hey, dude, I told on you. So,
Yeah.
be expecting an asshole. You know, I would have
Yeah,
respected you
exactly.
a little bit more for
Hey,
that.
man, I didn't mean to.
Not like laughing with me and shit
Yeah.
and like.
But you know, he went in general. He went and like, purposely told on you.
Oh,
'Cause,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
How would Bob have known that you cursed?
Yeah,
right?
because he
Like,
went and told. And then came back to the room cool as fuck. Like, we're best of friends.
That's what hurt more.
That's
Huh?
what
Like
it
when he
hurt,
got
bro,
whooped, you
like-
just felt like betrayed, like Mel
Nah,
Gibson
like,
in
what I
Braveheart.
thought next
when
time
he
your
got
parents
betrayed, like,
leave
you're
you
just,
at
like,
home,
crying.
I'm gonna burn your house to the ground.
Yeah, man, that's your go-to move when you're upset. I'm gonna burn people,
Yeah.
man. Enough.
Well, what about you? Have you ever
Well,
been
what's the
spanked?
time, Andy? What's the battery life on this thing? Oh, okay. We still got some time. Yeah, well, quick segue into me then, I guess, because now the best for last. Obviously, I'm the belle of the
I
ball.
thought you already told about yourself.
How dare you? That is so like
No, but
everybody
when,
hating on
when,
me.
When, explain. Like, did you ever get spanked?
I don't remember exactly. I've been spanked before. Yeah, but honestly, growing up, I wasn't like Dad didn't have to spank me, Mom and Dad, they would look at me or get mad at me or yell at me, and that was enough, man. That's what crippled me, right? But yeah, I was pretty annoying. People say I was really obnoxious growing up, really loud, and I tell people like, man, it's really because all my life, I just kind of wanted to get, like you guys were saying, that inner circle. I wanted to be really good friends with everybody, And I guess I tried overcompensating for that, or I felt like I had something to prove and impress. So I'd talk loud, joke a lot, say some mean things, really, but none of it was like with bad intentions, So that's where that obnoxious, he talks too damn much came from. And then all my guys were like your guys' age, like all our cousins, because like I said, growing up with his family, they were all older than me, right? Jonathan's kind of that transition point for our family, really. After him, then it's like the next generation who were like younger than him and going in high school and all that. So for me, it was like I was at the bottom end of it, looking up to all you guys, So that's where I think my obnoxious ways, and people were like, well, no, bitch, because we're not in your family and you're still obnoxious, right? So it's crazy, man. Crazy. Well, I learned a little bit about you both today, and I got to say, I immediately regret it now. I regretted talking about you guys because you were not
didn't
interesting.
Even explain about yourself, man.
Okay, well, so I'm not going to just go on a fucking monologue talking about me. I mean, you guys got to ask me something. Give me something, fucking something
Why
to
are you
work
doing
with.
this podcast?
Nah, we'll go to another subject. We don't care.
Yeah, we don't care. No, dude, we were jamming to, before we started the podcast, I wanted to give a shout out because I'm hoping if this guy reposts us at the G for Guzman podcast, we're in it. I can die happy and everything I've ever worked for my whole life.
To the greatest artists.
Shout out to Blue October Band, man. We were jamming to them before we started this podcast. Just in case Justin Furstenfield, you're listening, who's the leader, lead guitar, lead singer of Blue October Band. We are also from Houston, just like you, so we're a Houston podcast. Please repost, please. No, I'm joking. No, we were jamming out to them, man. They have some good songs, dude. Yeah. Honestly, that's one of them. They're like
they're my favorite band of all time.
Really?
Of all time?
They? Like of all any rock band,
any rock band,
English rock band, and all, or any rock band. Honestly, they're in my top 5. Honestly, they just have we were talking about Spanish rock before. How Maná has so many hits. So Blue October, they have so many damn hits too, man. Like all their songs, and I think it goes back to their key guy, Justin Furstenfield. That every time Furstenfeld, is that Field? He's like, well, damn. Now I'm definitely not gonna get the repost. Like, do you realize what you've done? Just
everything was going great until you.
Everything was going great. I mean, I'm sorry I misspoke his name, right? But I'm about to give him the biggest shout out because his music. I think the reason people like it, or the reason why I like his music so much, is like his lyrics, man, and the way it sounds. Obviously, he has a great voice, but the stuff he says, it's like, man, he's being honest and sincere when he's singing, when he writes. He pours his heart and soul into it, and that translates over to the music, man. Like all his songs. Hate Me, Into the... I mean, I could name all his hits, right? Calling You, Say It, but all his... And I don't even want to start listing them because I don't want to forget any. But all his not-so-popular songs are really good, man. You listen to any of his songs. You made the comment once that the reason why I like them so much, there's not one song I hear of them, and I'm like, oh, I don't like it, So they're good. So we're going to give him a shout-out after this, and he'll follow us back, and then we're going to start getting our viewerships in the millions.
His concerts that he's
I'll probably start going on tour with him and, traveling with him after
his
this
concerts,
this
they put on a good show, too, because you can feel the
energy, man.
Yeah, no, I've always
honesty in his performance.
And I've always said too, like you hear this guy live, and he sounds just as good, if not sometimes better. And that's not a knock on what comes out on the radio and his albums and stuff. It's a compliment to it that you would think most of the time you go hear someone that's truly singing live. Usually, it's not disappointment, but usually they're not as good as they sound on the radio or. When you buy their music and stuff. But this guy, I've heard him on multiple occasions. And, even when he did something small, like when the Super Bowl was in town, y'all remember we went to go check him out when he sang those few songs.
He always has love for Houston.
He's just a great performer. And his voice really transcends, and it gets the crowd involved. Like, goddamn, you feel his passion.
Yeah. He's talented, no doubt. I mean, like you said, his voice is amazing. He's obviously great.
Well, that kind of goes back, because you kind of feel his emotions.
I think what makes him, him, and not only him, but any great artist, because I consider him a great artist, is not only can he sing, he writes, he produces, he does all that stuff. Any great artist is their, not even ability, just the fact that, for me, I believe them when they sing, like, man, what you're saying.
For instance, this song, Hate Me.
Yeah, he wrote it, it's him. A lot of these famous singers and all that have people write songs for them, but like no, for him it's like, man, when I sing and when I perform, you're seeing my, like, I'm at my rawest, purest self. You know, that's who I really am. I don't hold anything back. And like him, with any great artist, we're talking more for music, that ability for them to get you to believe them, to trust them, to listen to them, and identify with them, because you know what that they're saying, whatever their song's about. You know, he's had troubles. He's the first to admit it, with alcohol. He was an alcoholic, or
And
drugs. He was really into drugs. You know, he had drug problems, but he was able to get over it, conquer it. So you see them like, man, he's done it. I trust him. You know, like I believe him when he says it. Yeah, yeah. It's like, man, he has credibility. You know.
Yeah.
And not necessarily that saying in order to be a good artist you have to have been a drug addict or something. It's like, no, but whatever you're singing about,
it's true.
It's true, you know. It's what I feel. And he's gonna first like, hey man, I'm not imposing it on you. This is just me. And I think, and he's very positive too. He wants people to rise. You know, he wants to get people through it.
He writes songs like, you know, on one of his most recent albums or one of his latest albums. It's not on the one that just came out, but the one before that, Home.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like where his life's at now. He's about his wife, his daughter, like his family, you know, and he's gotten closer to God and stuff. And he kind of sings about that, and you feel good for the guy because, you know, he's been open and admitted his struggles in the past, and to where he's at now, he's in a better place.
It's
loving
really,
life, loving his family.
Exactly. It's in a way, it's true inspiration.
And that's kind of why I like him too,
you.
because it kind of, his music's like a biography of his life, right? You know, he came from the darkest points in his life, and you know, now to see where he's at now is just
you know, kind of like you were telling this whole podcast thing. People like seeing what they understand, they know, right? Like you wanted to get your voice out there, and this is who I am, right?
Yeah.
Hey world, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like with his music, that's what he's doing, right? He's saying, hey, what
like
you're hearing
not,
is what I'm experiencing and all that. You can feel the honesty in his music, and I think that's why I like him. I mean, besides from the fact that it actually is good music,
yeah, right.
He has
it sounds
good music,
good.
yeah.
You know, it's aesthetically.
You can really relate to him, and even if it's like you can't relate to him as far as the problems with drugs and alcohol, you can relate to him as far as like with any problems you're dealing
just struggles,
with.
Right?
Yeah, because
everybody
his
has
were probably
problems.
those demons, but. In
general,
you're in a dark time, and you could listen to some of his songs, like, man, you know,
and apply it to
your life. Like, man, I'm feeling down in the dumps today. You know, shit's not going my way with work, with life, with my family, with relationships.
That's just the power of music.
Exactly, that's what I said. That's just what great music does, man. It makes you relate, and it
not
opens
like a lot
your mind.
of honestly, man, like this trash you hear on the radio nowadays, like it's garbage, bro.
Yeah.
And you know, to me, songs like this, well, my favorite song of his is "Say It." You know, just for various reasons. One, mainly because I can karaoke the shit out of that motherfucker. But no,
Mike's gonna go on tour with them eventually. Right? Mike's gonna be on 94.5 the Rob Ryan show tomorrow.
I need an invite,
doing a rendition of it.
We'll do that one, and then we'll get into like Houston Heights, and then I'll throw myself on,
Should Be Loved
into the fans. Should Be Loved,
and then I'll finish it off with Hate Me, right? Because I really knocked that one out the park.
Yeah,
on karaoke.
Just the acoustic one though.
Yeah, just
like,
the acoustic. Just my pure voice. You know, my voice going to town on it.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, we were talking about like ourselves a little bit. I am a grade A badass singer. Right? I'm a great singer. Everybody knows that about me. If you don't know about that about me, you'll come. I'll probably do a few sets on here.
They're from Houston too, right? He's from Houston.
Yeah.
So that's a check mark on our on our end.
So no, I mean I think a lot of his stuff, we were just watching it earlier, is like live from Texas. He's always saying, back in Texas, and that's just an added bonus that he's from this area.
They're coming back. Well, I don't know. They're coming back. They usually come around fall time.
Yeah,
they do that BuzzFest and then Thanksgiving time, because he's around here, I'm assuming, with his family, because I think he resides in.
Well, he's also cool with
that's where Texas State's
Ryan,
at,
right? 94.5 The Buzz.
There. Yeah.
So shout out to them, because they played some good music on there too, right? They were always kind of like sticking with their own Houston artists. They always want to promote them.
Yeah, free beer. Well, the Blue October, they say they respect Rod Ryan, because Rod Ryan has told them, like, hey, man, some of your songs I can't play on here just because it doesn't kind of fit with the theme and, the tone of our radio station.
Because they're like
for whatever reason,
right?
he said, but Rod Ryan at least was upfront with me about that, and he's like, hey man, but I really like your music. We'll play you when he does that BuzzFest, that 94.5 BuzzFest. They're always there.
Well, we ran into him, remember?
Rod Ryan?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know it was him. I knew his
2
voice.
Years ago?
2 years when we went to BuzzFest.
Yeah, but now Rod Ryan's cool. He was walking around like nothing. Remember?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't recognize him. I think that's the thing about radio personalities, that
they're just
their voice,
people,
but
man.
yeah.
You know,
And you don't see him too much visually.
I knew him
you know?
because you can't miss his
voice,
big, tall, bald head.
Yeah, and his white beard, whatever, that little goatee kind of thing. Yeah,
But
that's
I
why I
like
started
Rod
growing
Ryan.
mine.
He's cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like him for some reason.
Really?
But I think he's pretty cool,
I like
man.
him.
He
You
seems
know,
like he's a genuine guy, man. Honestly,
genuine and
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're in a position of fame, I wouldn't say he's like a really, really famous guy, but Houston, he's a famous Houston guy, and I'm sure people all like local bands
he's
and
definitely the top 3-4 radio personalities in the Houston area. For
yeah,
sure.
oh,
For
definitely,
sure.
definitely top 3 or 4, yeah. And I'm sure, like I said, in that world, they'd probably know him like around the nation.
When I think they actually were in New Orleans before coming here, because I think they broadcast in New Orleans as well.
Oh, really? He's from Louisiana, then.
I don't know if he's from Louisiana. I think he's from like Buffalo.
Oh, damn.
He's from Buffalo.
Yeah, because I was going to say, he doesn't have like a southern accent.
Nah, he's
dude.
from New York.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, all these the
all
radio
over the place,
personalities,
man.
none of them really live here.
Yeah.
You know, they travel wherever they're getting hired is where they
Well,
have
I'm sure
to
he
move.
lives here now, but he was.
Oh, I'm sure.
Buffalo,
Oh, yeah, for sure, because they broadcast here from Houston. But what I'm saying is, I think they did either he spent some time in New Orleans, but I think even the buzz is now kind of worldwide, right? Because that's why they say world famous Rod Ryan show. But it's because they're on that iHeartRadio, so you can hear them anytime, no matter where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what we hear here in Houston, I think New Orleans also hears it as well. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, just kind of what I picked up when I listened to the show, I think he spent some time down there in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Because
he's a great,
out a lot.
yeah, he's a great radio personality, man. He has a great voice. He speaks very fluid.
And who's that girl that kind of like is on his side?
He has a lot. He has a few of them.
Well, I used to like Teresa when she would come out on it, but now she does the afternoon mix.
Yeah, and there's that
She
other
was
guy he
good.
has with them.
Yeah.
I think they're in the Galleria, right? That's where they come
I
out
think
of.
they
Like
sit
they have
somewhere off 610 somewhere.
Yeah, right there in the loop, right there in the
Yeah,
Galleria,
so
Post Stoke
Give
area.
a quick shout out to 94.5.
94 to 5. Give us a shout out.
They ain't gonna do it, but
Nah, he seems like a good. That's what I was gonna say. When I hear him, he doesn't sound like he's from the South at all. He's a pretty cool guy, man.
Yeah.
But it's just like you said. Anybody, when you get to some certain amount of even fame, even in high school, right? Popularity in a contest, it's a war. The sex you get, you don't want. The sex you want, you ain't getting. No, but whenever you get any kind of fame, there's always going to be haters, scrutiny. You're always going to have people talking trash about you. So like you said, I don't know why people hate him. Hey, man, anytime you get that, some level, when you get people, when your eyes aren't on you, people are going to hate.
And it's unfortunate, but man, that's just the way it is.
It's been
You
cool to
donate
me,
$1 million to charity, people were asking, why didn't you donate to? You got it. Like, you can't ever do right.
Yeah.
But to me, it's, we've always said it, right? Just be genuine, man. Like, and I think you'll find that peace when you're doing certain things, not expecting certain feedback or things in a response. You'll be happy with it, man, because you know you're doing with your part, and that's all that really fucking matters.
Yeah.
But what do you think, we're at a point to wrap it up?
I think so. Yeah, our timekeepers are throwing out the signals. I'm getting the vibes that maybe it's time to wrap it up a little.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, man, I hope those of you who are watching, and more importantly, you two fools right here and me, kind of learned a little something about ourselves today, right? That's kind of the main objective of it, to kind of get people familiar with ourselves, with us, and for ourselves to, kind of familiarize ourselves. I mean, there's always something to learn, always more. Whenever you can reflect and kind of just look back and take a minute to just talk about yourself a little bit, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's always benefits everybody, and we did it in a cool way, I think. So thank you guys for sharing that. It was so boring, though. I'm never going to do it again, so sorry. Worst mistake.
Yeah. No, go listen to some Blue October.
Shout out to Blue October. Shout out to the Rod Ryan Show. Yeah.
Yes, we love you
any
guys.
closing comments, guys? Johnny?
I enjoyed today's podcast. Like, we talked about Blue October, about ourselves, so.
I did have one quick question, though, about you when you were talking about your life real quick before we go. When you got married, because you said you got married at a really young age. You were 18 when you got married. So when Anna moved in, did you find it really, like, when did you become okay, like, farting in front of her? Like, how did you go about that, man? Because, honestly, that's one of the biggest questions I want to ask. It's little things like that freak me out, like getting in a real serious relationship.
Once you do it as the
like, was it the fart of 2012 that was your first fart, or something like that?
It took a few years, bro.
Oh, so you do it now, though?
Yeah.
You do fart?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Damn.
Yeah. But, it's one of those things, like, you're embarrassed. Like, I did it for some time, man. Like, went without doing it, yeah, out of embarrassment and stuff. But it was just once I knew she heard that first one, like.
Did you do it on purpose? Because I can't take
No,
it
no,
anymore.
no,
I can't keep. I
it
can't
was
live
an
the rest of my
accident,
life
bro.
like this. Or
I did it, and not
On
knowing she
accident?
was around, and like she heard me and like peeked her head through the door, like I'm right here. So it was one of those like fuck moments. But then it kind of helped me because then after that I didn't give a shit.
Damn,
And
man.
so it just
See, honestly, I guess that's how immature
But
I
you
am.
work. I think you were working with a small time frame because if you don't do it, then you can't
That's what I
do
tell
it,
people.
right?
I thought maybe you
can't
did it
do
on purpose. I can't take it anymore. I can't go the rest of my life not farting.
Because once
in
you
front
cross
of her.
that bridge, it's like you
Can't
better
go
not
back,
fart
but
in
she
front of
heard
her
it.
because you ain't like that. I don't think he
Those
says he
are the
doesn't
things
like
that
doing
concern me about getting like in a real serious relationship. You know, just
just
little
do it
little
the first night, bro.
peccadillos that
The wedding night.
wedding night, yeah,
You
or
know.
like get her head and just like burn.
Yeah,
and
we'll
just,
just
like,
cover with the covered Dutch oven, bro.
what is that called? A Dutch oven?
Yeah, and just get
Just
it over
Dutch
with.
oven her ass, right?
Get it over with.
She'll love you more
embrace
for
it.
it
If
afterwards.
she really loves you, she'll embrace the
Mhm.
fart.
Yeah, so you hear that, guys? That's where we're going to end it off tonight. Any of those guys in serious relationships, Dutch oven your girlfriend tonight, fart, make it your stinkiest fart, and put the covers over her, and she'll love you even more. She'll respect
love
you.
The
So I'm Matt
stinkier the
G.
fart, the more prosperous
Yeah,
your
stinkier the fart, the most. I
marriage will
think
be.
Gandhi said that or something.
It's a fact.
Shout out to Gandhi. No, but Johnny G, Mike G, I'm Matt G. You guys have a good night. Go eat something real stinky to get those farts going,
Yeah.
and y'all have a good night, guys.
Yeah.
We're out of here. Take it
care.
easy.
Peace.
Good night.
Yeah, shit. Oh, man.
Mandy's like, we didn't record anything. She's like, that 10 minutes.
You
was
recorded
like,
the whole
all
thing,
we
though?
recorded.
What was our time right there? How much did we get in?
About an hour and like 25 minutes.
1 hour and 25?
It just wasn't charged last time. Then.
Yeah, that was it, dude, honestly. It said it was charged, but like I said, there's a difference between barely getting there and I let that motherfucker sit all night. Yeah.
Did you want it? You wanted to do like a video, like to post to Instagram about y'all listening to him and tag him?
Yeah, you fucked up his name, bro. Kinda,
Fuck, that's why I said that. No, come on, man. We talked good about blogs. We don't have to put that part. He's not going to listen to the whole fucking podcast.
I would, honestly, because...
I'm just saying, that's why I'm saying a clip, you know?
Yeah, a clip.
And message it to him?
But make sure you don't get the part where it says Justin First and
No, I'm
Field.
saying right now.
I think it is.
Nah, it's failed, bro.
Oh, I'm not going to record. That's
If
a
there's
fail.
not an I in the end, then it's
I said,
failed.
I didn't
Put
butcher it, though, man.
Huh?
I said Justin Furstenfield. It's Justin Furstenfeld.
The only reason I called you out on it,
'Cause I
because
said
I
it a
know,
few
because you
times.
said it a few times, you would have kept saying
Yeah.
it.
No, I'm glad you did. I mean, don't feel like correct. I mean, I was joking.
Should
I was
be
saying more like, hey, you
You
said
said
it.
it because you said it a couple times, and I was like, I ain't gonna say shit. But then you said it again.
No, no, next time I do, y'all correct me, man. Because honestly, this isn't here where I'm trying to. I don't want to say that, but I don't want him to then anybody. But no, I'm not gonna do like a direct video like, hey, Justin, if you can give us a shout out, or should I?
No, not a shout out, but just
Nah,
like
we'll
you're
just,
talking about his music.
Yeah, I would just say copy,
I would do a clip from
Talk-
that
talking
and
about-
tag him in it or something.
talking-
Well,
Saying to post it to your story
gotta get
or
the
even
I would put something like talking about their favorite band at Blue October.
Is that really your favorite band, or did you just said that? Just
I was like an inspiration to them at Justin Furstenfeld because I think he has a page as well. And
he's the Bull October band.
if
that's
we
his
need,
page.
if we, I think
That's what I'm
so.
saying,
Don't
like
push
if
them.
you're just sitting
It's just
around
Blue October,
pretending to be talking into your mics like, hey, that's my favorite band or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Should we do it right now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Put a music or put a music. Put his music.
We can redo
No, you can do it right now.
Yeah, but we're not gonna hook any of this up. We're just pretend like we're talking. She's gonna record it on the phone.
And then what, you're gonna message it to him or what?
We'll just
No,
tag
do a
them, right?
Story and tag them in it.
No, I think we should wait till we get the footage, and then once we get that, we'll tag it. Just tag it right now, and we can tag it in 2 weeks from now. It doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Why are you gonna rush her?
Do you think we have good content to tag him in when we're talking?
Just like a minute clip of because he would take that more into consideration about where his music comes from and all that, as opposed to listening to our favorite band. I'm sure they get that.
Oh, I was gonna say listen to our favorite.
yeah, I believe the key to solving problems around the world is collaboration and communication. Because if you don't know how to communicate with others, you don't know how to take
make sure
ideas.
you don't
Things
get
aren't
where
going to
he's-
work out.
No,
Learn how to
Saying
communicate, take ideas, put them together. Things will get done. Things will definitely get done.
should do it on their phone. Man.
It's a little bit more formal, right?
Hey, me
He said he's
Hey, me so you can find.
Well, either way, you want me to do it with my phone? Because with the phone.
I think maybe we should just do Jonathan's idea. Just get the video, and then maybe even if you want to do a minute one and tag him in that one or something.
Or
Well,
you
that's
can do like a minute one. We use the audio and then we'll do where we just see.
I gotta go
that's
inside. I
what
gotta
I'm
boo
saying
boo.
now, it's
Later.
if we're gonna do it, then I'm gonna use the phone because the phone captures that one better.
I would like my paycheck on Friday.
Because this is when he was in Houston, the Woodlands.
That's when we went, right?
I don't think it's 2015.
It wasn't that long.
We can get that motherfucker to follow us. Wow, he's good.
He won't follow us.
Hey,
he
we
might
repost a
He
lot.
might like us. Like might like the thing.
Hey, that's good.
He
That
does
is
look
good.
at it. I see him repost people all the time.
Whenever fans, like,
You follow him?
yeah,
I do too.
whenever he sees fans, he'll even take like a picture with random people and like post it.
Let's do it real quick now. All right. So what are we gonna say? Well, it already started.
Oh wait, let me just export this. You're still.
Well, don't put the video on. Just put it like on Spotify where his like cover albums in the background playing.
Alright, we'll do it.
That's actually kind of cool. It looks kind of cool in the background.
Yeah, I would replay.